Hello, hello, and welcome to another week of Moments with Vivacious here on Vivacious Speaks. This week, our guest is Miss Erica Strong, and we're talking about the power of self-love. And I'm excited about that because I believe that self-love is the foundation of everything, even realizing our dreams. And again, I want to say thank you, but let me remind you to press um, like, press the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, press the subscribe button and hold on to your seats. Just share with someone, and we'll be right back after the intro with Miss Erica Strong. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious, a freedom ride where we the people gather to build ourselves, our family, our community, and our nation. For the sound of America for progress has reached critical mass. Understanding that we must put aside our differences to focus on the greater good. This is a place of collaboration to rebuild and restore our nation. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious. Hello, hello. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I am wonderful. Before we get started, I'm excited, and I
Same.
want the audience to know how excited they'll be having you here tonight, because I think that this is a topic that we have to share in building America so that we'll have a future for our children and our grandchildren. That we can't weaken our family anymore. We have to strengthen the family, strengthen the community, and that's what's going to build us. We have to walk out in love. But first, we have to love ourselves. So tell us a little bit about you.
Oh my goodness, about me. I am the mother of three beautiful girls and a grandson and a wife, and I'm also a business strategist. So I absolutely adore my family and I adore helping entrepreneurs, really solidify themselves in whatever industry that they're in. So I absolutely am grateful for my life. All the bumps, hurdles, and things I had to get through to get to here. I think that kind of sums up who I am.
And I didn't hear it, but I know it. You're quite a motivational speaker, encouraging people in life. And today, we're here to talk about, and I get my topics from people, what they want to hear, what they need to know, or some things that I see. And I see from I work in mental health, so I see from the youth to the adults that we're really lacking in self love and how to think of ourselves. So, where should we start with that, Erica?
Oh my goodness, I think that topic is so huge because self-love is something that touches every part of our lives, right? So in terms of just self-love, for me, I'm always going to say you have to really know who you are, right? When I ask people like, who are you? The first thing, just like you just asked me, Erica, who are you? Oh, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother, and I have a business, and da da da. That's not who we are. Like, who are you? And if I say right now, Vivacious, point to you, show me where will you point? Vivacious, point to you, right?
Yes.
This is who we are. We're not all the stuff that's outside of us. We are nestled down into being one with God, the very source that created us that cannot fail, right?
Right.
Where all of unconditional love comes from. So if you ask me what is self-love, it's really going back into who am I really? My mentor wrote a book with that title, Who Are You Really? And it's like getting to the source of who you are, because from that space is where you find true self-love.
And as you're saying that, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of so often I would hear um, people say, "Well, girl, why you did that?" Then like, what happened? What caused that? Well, girl, you know me. Are we going to such and such a place? What's going to happen? Well, you know me, and I'm saying, no, you don't know you.
You don't
You
know.
don't know you, because the things that people say that there are a lot of times is nothing of what is exemplified.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do a person look into themselves and see them, the true them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you one of the things that I did, and now I do it on a regular basis. But I did it one year for my birthday, right? Because I was on this journey of rediscovering who am I really. When life kind of knock you down, and it's like, okay, you are not the best businesswoman, and you're probably not the best wife. Like when life start making you question who you think you are, right? And
Yeah.
you have to really come to terms with who am I. For my birthday one day, I stood in the mirror and I looked at myself eyeball to eyeball. I didn't look at, oh, I got a freckle, oh, I got a pimple, oh, I got this and I got that, and I don't like this, I don't like that. I literally was like eyeball to eyeball with myself in the mirror. And I stood there and I stared in my eyes until I really felt a connection. And the connection was that I didn't see nothing else but the pupils of my eye. And when I
Mhm.
stood there and I really got that laser focus on who, like like seeing me, I
Yes.
said, I love you. I love you. I said, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for not leaving me. Thank you for always standing right here with me. You have come with me through so many ups and downs, so many times that I thought I was going to lose my mind, but you kept me whole. You kept me stable. I love you and I appreciate you and I thank you. Talking to me.
And
Vivacious, when I did that, I had chills over my body, tears coming out of my eyes because I was talking to me, me,
yes.
the inner me.
And when you were saying that, I felt it. Things started going through my mind of when I was there for me, when I thought I was going to lose my mind. I was like 16, 17 years old, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. And I walked to the mental health clinic. I found out about a mental
Wow.
health clinic.
Wow.
And I walked to the mental health clinic, and it was because I didn't want nobody else to see
Mm,
that I didn't have it all together.
mm,
At the time I thought I was really losing it,
mm,
and I was just that came up just now to me, and some other times I didn't leave me, and
mm,
I didn't lose it,
mhm,
and I was thinking of, suppose something happened and everything went blank tomorrow.
mhm,
I asked myself that question today. What would you do? What would you do, Vivacious? And I
mhm,
thought, you're gonna do what you always do. You're gonna get out there and hustle and make it happen again. And I started thinking today, and even just now, of the times where I had to make it happen over and over and over.
mhm,
And when
mhm,
it wasn't happening, for my family, a member of my family, I jump in there and I make it happen over and
mhm,
over
mhm,
and
mhm,
over. And
mhm,
that's just who I am
mhm,
in that area. But
mhm,
sometimes, Erica, things are said to children
mhm,
that's so harsh.
mhm,
My sister and I was home last week. It was great, and I love my family. Thank you, Sigrid, for such a beautiful time
mhm,
at home in Eunice and the family. But and Kenzie, so we were talking about the things that we experienced because our mom died, and we
mhm,
were left with other people.
mhm,
And the thing we were talking about, those things that we had to push through, and I don't know how, it could only be the Holy Spirit, but
mhm,
we defied the odds. We defied everything that people
mhm,
said we were going to be. But how do we, let's talk, can we talk about that? Can we talk about the things that happened, and that's told to children and even grown-ups that have been told in a younger year that stagnates or really destroys some people's lives?
Absolutely. It's amazing that you asked me that question because me and Jasmine, my oldest daughter, had this conversation yesterday. And we were just talking about, because my grandson has autism. And one of the things that we never do over him, around him, in his earshot is to speak disabilities, right? And
Right.
so we are always talking about, like, and I'll just tell you, like, even on my desk, I have, Case is intelligent, talented, and completely healed, right? When I talk
Yeah.
to him, I'm like, you're brilliant, you're smart, you are handsome, you are great, you're kind. And he says these things over and over again. And so when Jazz and I were talking, I made a statement in that, and I said, the things that people say to children when they're young is the echo that they hear as they grow up. And Jazz was like, Ma, you wouldn't even understand it. I was talking to a lady earlier this week, and she was, almost in tears. The lady was probably like 60 or above, almost in tears about something that somebody said to her when she was younger. I think her mother had said to her. And I told her, I say, Jazz, that is a real thing. Because I remember my parents used to be we were the family in our neighborhood that we only were the ones with the two parent families, right? And so my house was the haven house for family members, for friends. Every time somebody was down on their luck, everybody came to stay with us. And there was this one guy, and I remember him being a pastor. His children, his wife all stayed with us, and he was like a jokester. And he used to always say, Erica, you're so ugly. And I'm like, I'm not ugly. He was like, yeah, you're pretty ugly. And I mean, think about it. I'm 52, and I still remember that conversation. So much so that when he used to say it, like, in our bathroom, there was the sink, and then the mirror was up a little bit higher. So I wasn't even tall enough to just stand in the mirror and look in it. And I remember having to hoist myself up on the sink to stare at myself in the mirror. And I'm looking at, what does he see that's ugly? I'm looking at my nose and my eyes and my mouth and just at my ears. I'm like, what does he see as ugly? I could not understand it. And at 52, and I don't know what that age was, but I wasn't tall enough to look in the mirror. I had to always overcome until one day I was like, he didn't know what he was. I mean, I really had to come to myself. But we have voices that echoes into people's lives. I think I remember Maya Angelou saying this one time before. I believe it was her, when somebody told her that she was so pretty. And because she didn't believe she was pretty, when that person and whoever told her that she was so pretty and somebody she looked up to, she always remembered that. So I made it a habit after hearing her say that. And then after going through what I went through with that guy, keep telling me, you're so ugly, pretty ugly. Every time I see a little girl, I don't care where I am, what they're doing, like, oh my God, you are so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so gorgeous. Because they may need some lady that just came up and saw how gorgeous they were, to say that in their lives. And it is true. We can say things that vibrates to somebody's life that can be of detriment, but we also can say things that vibrates through somebody's life that could be something that's the budding to the flower that they needed. You know what I mean?
Yes. I had a parent a couple of days ago, and her son had done something, and she was like, "Cause see, you so bad," and that. So often I have to say, Mom, you're gonna need to be quiet. You're gonna need to be quiet. All he's gonna ever have is what you're gonna speak. And I understand that as a parent, um, when you're going through things, especially now, it's a lot of out of order. It's hard not to see the negative. It's hard not to see the negative. And I'm asking right now, tell us how to, not only with our children, but in everything in life, in every place in life. How do we push past the negative? How do we see beyond what we see to
One
see
of the
ourselves?
One of the things I always like to, because I'm not sure if we talked about this, but my background is business in therapy, which is why I'm always in a good place to help entrepreneurs, because it's not just the business aspect, it's the life thing that gets in the way that could crumble the business, right? And so in my training with therapy, narrative therapy is my favorite modalities, right? And one of the things about therapy is you can change the narrative whenever you want, by putting a different meaning around it, right? By putting a different story around it. Because honestly, things live in our head and live in our heart so long because of the story that we put around it. It could be as simple as changing the story, right? My story with the guy saying, "You're so ugly," changed when I said, "He was just being silly. This guy's always playing. He's always, a jokester. He didn't really mean it. And if he meant it, it wasn't true. It's only true if I believed it." So I forgive him for saying things like that to me when I was young. I know that I'm pretty. I know that I am, just start affirming myself. But it's really like changing that narrative, because it's not what happened to you that really causes the trauma. It's what you say about what happened to you that causes the trauma. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and what you believe. Yeah.
Yeah, because what you say about it becomes what you believe about it.
Yes.
Like if I say it enough, like they said it, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not this and I'm not that, and da, 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 da. And if I keep saying it, I'm going to start believing it. And when I believe it, whatever a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If I
Yes.
if I think it enough and I believe it, I'm going to start acting like that. I'm going to start acting like the person that's not pretty enough, that's not good enough, that's not something enough. But the same thing that goes for a positive. If I am affirming myself all the time that I am more than enough, I am capable, I can do this, it doesn't matter where my life was before, it matters where it's going. I'm changing the narrative, and therefore I'm changing what I say, I'm changing what I think, and then I change how I act. And then that's how my life follows. And that's anybody else. Anybody can follow that pattern.
Yes. 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 It sounds really good. And so when we're living in this place of pain, when we've taken on the negative, I'm thinking of this one precious young girl. I think she was like 15 or 16, and she was all involved with a young boy with drugs. And I said, why would you bring this boy into your home? Oh, how you are only teenagers, blah blah blah. The whole little sermon. And she said, well, he buys me things. He buys me whatever I want. And I'm like, girl, you don't even know nothing about. I didn't say that to her, but it saddened my heart because you had no value to yourself, but what a 16-year-old can buy you. I said, well, when your mom put you out, can he get you an apartment? Oh no, he's only 16 like me. I said, why are you giving him your whole life? So when we're at an age, and look, I'm saying she was 16, but we have some grown women the same way. That how do you engage? I love the mirror thing. I think I want to go do that to myself when we finish tonight. But how do you engage and swing? You live the negative life. Your mom's screaming negative things at you, and now you're here and you're 16 or you're 26 or you're 36 or you're 46 or you're 56 and on up. And how do you turn to that pot? Because you've believed it, all your life. You've been fed the lie, and you've been eating from the lie.
Mm-hmm.
So women that's stuck, how do, and not only women, because we always say that, I guess because we women, but men are the same way too.
Person. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do we deal with, because we don't understand our self-worth at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what? One of the things I think in just the years of therapy motivational speaking, and I'm an author of two books. My first book is Finish Love Strong, Stand Strong, Finish Strong. And what I found in writing that book, it was so therapeutic for me as as I wrote it, but it made me see that it is by the word of our testimony that helps other people's lives, right? So it's not about me, oh, let me tell you my story. But 90% of the time when somebody's telling me something, I can tell you my life has touched every piece of pain you probably could imagine, right? And so I have something to be able, like we looked at those things as bad, but really some those things that are going to work for our good and work for somebody else's good, right? So when I encounter people that has had a lifetime of just negative spirals and negative responses and never negative actions, and I get a chance to have a conversation with them, I'm usually going to start with, let me tell you a story, right? I remember a time when I was 16 and I was so crazy about a guy. And I just want, like we all have something to share that helps them to see that there's a path outside of where they are. There could never be a conversation with anybody that is in that spiral that you can come and say, this is what you need to do, and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do that, da 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 da. They are freed by somebody that has the not only the empathy, but that can really understand where they are, the level that they're on. And I don't care where you see me. It could be on a talk show, it could be, on a stage. But when I talk to you, I'm gonna be at the level that you need me, because I'm almost certain we all have stories that we can share on a level that will grab somebody's attention, and then the lesson that comes behind it. And that's what I did in my book. So I just talked about different things that happened in my life, and then the lessons and the things that I learned, and gave them like a blueprint. Like, if this is something that you truly want to see yourself to come out of, here's a blueprint for you to be able to travel through, changing the way that you think about things, changing your environment, finding self-worth. Like, this is all about self-love. And at the end of the day, if you really, really can see who you are to your core, and you really start putting some value on it, those things that usually decisions you would make that are like negative to your life, you start to like change even those decisions. It's amazing the power that comes behind that self-love, and really recognizing who you are. So I do get it. You do have those people in those spirals, but that's why you have enough people around them that has a way, a story or something that can pull them out, put that arm around them and not judge them. I mean, I've been a young 16-year-old stupid in love. I've been a 26-year-old, silly about a husband, or a 36-year-old that's still not making great decisions. Like, we've all been there. So instead of just kind of giving them the glory of our story, give them the like this. I know I can understand and I can really relate because I've been there. You get what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes.
that's the pattern, or that's the solution that I use when I encounter those kind of conversations.
It is your book still available?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would suggest the book, especially for people who like, if you wanna do better, you wanna come out better, you wanna see yourself differently, then I would suggest the book. But more than that, if
Mm-hmm.
you can't see yourself good, if you can't see yourself beautiful, if you can't see anything good about yourself, I
Mm-hmm.
would suggest that they get that book. It sounds like quite a journey,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
to freedom, really, to self freedom. So
Mm-hmm.
could you tell us the name of the book again and
Mm-hmm.
how we get
See if
it?
I have one up here. I usually have one on my desk. I don't. It's Love Strong, Stand Strong, Finish Strong. And but before we get off, I'll make sure I'll hold it up so you guys can see it. I wasn't even planning on talking about it. That's why I didn't have one up here, but that's what it is. But at the end of the day, think about the title, Love Strong, right? You gotta love yourself. You gotta love everything about you. Like, now, going through the healing, right? I am grateful for all of the things that has happened in my life, good, bad, and indifferent, because they have made me who I am. So like to really be able to stand up and say I love strong gave me the ability to stand strong, right? Stand strong in my life. And really similar to what you said, you can stand strong in your life because knowing that, okay, I made it through this, I'm going to make it through the next one. And anything, something come up in your life now, it might shake you a little bit. You might be a little afraid, but you realize I made it through worse. I can make it through this. Like it's nothing that can come up that I can't make it through. So you're able to stand strong in life. And then you can finish strong, right? But you see, it all starts with love strong, stand strong, finish strong. And then just how the book came about was just a miracle by itself. Just a whole miracle. But in that, I found that and I'll just kind of give you a quick story because I love telling stories, because I feel like stories really pull people in and they get a chance to know who you are. That book came off the heels of me wanting to end my life, me not wanting to live anymore, me being married. My husband at the time decided that we had just had our youngest daughter. He decided that, you know what, marriage life is just not for me. And he left. Not like, okay, Erica, this is not working, I'm leaving. He left to go on a work trip. 2 weeks into that work trip, he called me back and said, I'm not coming back home. You remember that scene in Harlem Nights when that guy called, baby, put your mom on the phone. Honey, I ain't coming back. It was one of those moments, right? Mm-hmm. But in this moment, I mean, I was so numb to like what just happened, because our daughter was just one, and I already had my other two, and then he's gone and he's not coming back. All to find out that he left to be with an R&B singer. So where this personal pain turned into public pain, because now while we're still married, they're engaged. Essence is talking about how amazing their life is, and everybody's interviewing them, and he's on her videos. He's traveling the world with her. It was like he just left me and our children, and he is like living the rock star life. But I was left to deal with everything on my own. So every day I woke up crying and depressed and not wanting to live anymore. And it was so many times in that it had gotten so close to me. Like I was scaring myself. Like I'm feeling like, how can I think about not living anymore so much that I don't start to act on it? Right. And the one day I looked in my medicine cabinet, he had some pills from when he had a surgery. And I'm looking at the pills like, you know what? I should just take these pills because he's the one that caused all his pain. And I was like, you know what? This is scary. Let me get out of here. Took my girls, got in the car. We are driving to Baltimore because that's where I'm from, just so that I can get out of that house and out of those thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. While we're driving from Savannah, because that's where we were living at the time, to Baltimore, we're driving across the bridge from Savannah to South Carolina, and the girls are asleep, and I'm driving and I'm crying. I mean, they don't see us crying. They don't see me crying. You know how we do as women. We put on that strong face. So I'm crying the entire time, and all I'm thinking, like, this is too hard. Everybody knows my business. Everybody's laughing at me. This, like, it was just too much. It felt like the world knew that my husband left me for this singer, and now he's still like, and we're still married, and I'm dealing with all of this, right? And so I'm driving across this bridge, and I'm looking over the overpass thinking like, I should just, and I'm crying really hard, and I'm thinking I should just end it, right? And I got my girls in the car, and I'm like, I should just end it right now. And I was really, really going to do it. I was going to do it. I was driving and crying, and I was looking at that bridge, and I slowed down for a minute because I really wanted to make sure that's what I wanted to do. And as I was driving, Jasmine coughed. Jasmine coughed. Wow. And it snapped me out. I looked over and I was like, oh my God. And I cried more. How could I be so selfish? What am I about to do to my children? And I started this journey of like, okay, God, I need help. I need help. And that final straw, I do that. Fast forward, I'm back home and I'm like helping other women, because like that was the message that I got. Help other people, because when you help other people, you'll heal. So I get back home and I had this my assistant to call all of these people that I knew was always talking to me about stuff. And I told him, get Joyce Meyer's book, Battlefield of the Mind, because the battle is won or lost in your mind first. It's what you think about. Everything starts in what you think about it. And
Yes.
so got back home thinking I'm healed, thinking I'm okay. And now they essence announced their engagement in essence. So I'm writing essence and I'm like, y'all need to check y'all sources. This man is still married. He's my husband. How could you do this? Da, 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 da. And as I'm writing that, I am in the house by myself. And I literally heard God say, I am your avenger. I am your avenger. And I sat there for a second. I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? I'm not a person that is confrontational. So maybe it's just me trying to talk myself out of, pressing sin. But the second hearing that I heard, I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm like, I heard this. I am your avenger. I love them too. I love them too. What?
But that is not what we want to hear.
That is not what I want to hear, because the way I was raised is I got a whole bunch of stuff that they doing wrong that you shouldn't even love them. But honestly, Vivacious, after that moment, I deleted it. I never sent the email. And I was like, okay, God, I trust you. You're my avenger. Let's go. And I'm thinking like, strike them down, do something, right?
Right.
But he said, I love them too. And that was my search for what kind of love is that? And that's how I got to Love Strong. And then I had to stand in it. Once you learn it, you got to stand in it.
Yes.
I'm sorry for the long story, but like
no. Look, we have Kenzie, could you drop the this is Patricia Harris. She says, I'm so glad you're sharing your story. It is so encouraging. I had a similar experience.
Wow.
You are a living testimony.
Wow. Yeah.
And we gotta all, just like you said, we have to always tell our story. We have to tell our story.
Mm-hmm.
We have to tell our story because so many people, there's freedom in our story. You know?
Is.
And look, if you can love through that, there's no greater love, because he's still there. Still your children's dad, even though you could do such a thing. Lord, thank you for fixing even my heart, even thinking about it. My friend had an experience and I said, God is doing so much with me, and I'm so glad. But when you told me that story, I was mad. I want to keep liking him because I like him, but I'm about to get mad. So so that was a good thing. I think that's still Patricia Harris. She said you're so encouraging to her.
That's Samaya. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Samaya.
Samaya. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I need to put my glasses on. Samaya, encouraging. Yeah. People needed that. That story was needed by our audience. Now, I'm gonna tell you another place I stand. I might get some stronger love right here too. Have you ever heard of Kevin Samuel?
I have.
Okay. When I first started listening to Kevin Samuel, he was talking about being feminine and, the difference between masculine and feminine. I didn't realize how masculine I was until I started listening to this man. I was raised by my daddy. Everything I knew, nobody could flirt like me because I learned it from the best. You know what I'm saying? I learned it from my daddy. I could talk some stuff. But, and then when it started getting raunchy, I cut off. And today somebody was sharing a story and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I can't believe the Kevin that I met was the Kevin that's doing those things. And somebody said, that's why I said, no, that's not why the man died. It was his time to die, okay?
Yeah.
That's not who God is. Just like he told you, I love him too. I said, but what responsibility? Now, if I'm hard, I'm, just tell it to, give it to me where it's at, okay? So I said, why would you stay on the phone and listen to somebody tell you you so fat? You so fat, that's why you can't get a man. Or some of the stuff he said, and I guess I should be. My daughter told me, "Mom, be careful saying that you believe anything that man said." But some things, like some things, I was like, "Girl, why would you come? You too lazy to even sit up in the bed to talk to the man on the phone, and we can see you dropping money." So, that the women that he dogged out, they got more money. They paying him more money than I believe the men that he had trained. The upper class men, whatever, however he defined those men. But what would make a woman so, like, oh, they would be crying, he's screaming and hollering. Or I'm at work and there's a man, that has come in and he's on the phone with his mama, or his sister, his wife, or his girlfriend, screaming and howling and cursing, and there's still someone on the other side of the phone. Why do we? What would make us stay in those situations? I mean, I don't understand. I'm like, why? He would have got the dumb. Because I'm not going to sit here and listen to that. But how much responsibility do we? It's like people that smoke cigarettes. You smoke these cigarettes, you read the pack first that says it's killing you, it's causing cancer. Then you get cancer, and now you want to sue the people. You the one took your money and smoked the cigarettes?
Mm. Mm.
Talk to us about what would make a person, and maybe somebody might be just passing this one day, or might be listening in and hear, wait, why am I allowing myself to be abused like that, and want to cause? Are you really abusing yourself, or can we talk about that?
Absolutely. I remember I had not heard of him that much until one of my middle daughter was like, "Mom, he actually is saying some things that's like kind of true. You should just listen." And when I listened to him, I thought, you know what, I see how he kind of got people's attention, because a lot of women, if I did a podcast on how to get married in 30 days, what is a man really looking for, the conversations that a man need from a woman, we are all into it, because as women we want to be that woman for our man. So like if a man is telling us how a man wants to be treated, how a man wants to be talked to, we're like all ears, because we ultimately want that love and that adoration and that honor from a man that loves us and respects us, right? And I remember hearing, I think it was Farrakhan, one of his speeches said that, African American women are the most disrespected. I mean, it was all negative things that he said, but I remember when I heard it in the moments that I was just describing. And I remember hearing him say that we are the most disregarded, disrespectful, disrespected, dishonored, group in the world. And whatever he said, I honestly felt that in the moment, because I remember crying, like, that's exactly how I feel, right? And so when I heard this guy, I was like, you know what? He's just trying at first I thought he was trying to show up to give women that, if you really want to be, a guy to look at you and do da 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 and treat you this kind of way, this is how you have to, show up. Because much like you, I was a daddy's girl. My dad taught me everything about boys and about, like how you supposed to act and what you need to look for and all of that stuff. But it was one day, so my daughter's like, Ma, just listen. I listened to one of them, and the guy he was talking to a girl, and the girl was saying, she wanted to find this guy and all of this stuff. And then he was like, well, tell me about the guy. So the guy, he was pretty well established, all of this stuff. Like, he put the guy up here. And so he asked her, he said, and so on a scale from 1 to 10, where do you put yourself? Well, I put myself at an 8. And he's like, I'm looking at your picture. I wouldn't say it a 8. No, not an 8. She was like, a 7. He was like, no. She said a 6. He's like, no. She said a 5. And I'm screaming like, girl, why
And
are
she
you
loved
going
it.
down? Why are you letting him intimidate you to take your number down? Like, he is not the voice of who you are. Like, I got so mad at that because, to your point, we are so easy to listen to somebody that tells us what our value is. You can't put a value on a person that knows what their value is. Because I can tell you, with and y'all, this is, I might be sharing a little bit too much, but I'm gonna tell you how I stand in my truth. With me going through menopause, with me gaining weight, with cellulite in my thighs, I still feel like I am the one, right? I still
That's me.
know, because at the end of the day, it's not about what's on the outside. I know I'm a person with a great heart. I know I'm a person that adds light to anybody's life. I know I'm a person that adds value. Any man that has me, I'm a blessing to have because I'm adding value to his life. You know what I mean? So that's how we have to think about ourselves. I don't care what happened in the past. I don't care if you're a little heavier. I don't care if you have cellulite. I don't care if you have a couple of children and he doesn't have children, because he used to try to make you feel bad if you even had children. I don't care what you think is a thing that makes a man not want you, because that's not it. A man will love a woman with 6 kids and no children, with him no children, as long as you can bring and add value to his life. But guess what?
Yes.
If you know who you are, you are going to expect him to bring and add value to your life as well. So it's non-negotiable. If I'm bringing value, you better give it back, or I'm going to keep it moving. Like, deuces, I'm out. Like, that's how you have to think, you know?
Yeah. And you don't have to call somebody and pay somebody to degrade you. If somebody's disrespecting you, then hang up the phone. You don't have to only, and you know what? I said I'm saying that, and I want to cross to the other side, and I want to cross to the other side because there's 2 men that mean a lot to me, and they were both in abusive relationships, and both of them said to me, you know, y'all always talk about y'all abuse, but I did everything for this woman and her children. I did everything, and we can do some stuff too. We can be abusive too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is Nola Reed's, and Nola Reed says this is an awesome conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it would be. But because you are that. Yes, you are. I'll say I give you 10. I give you 10. but, but like we have to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. But how do we speak to men that's in an abusive relationship?
It's not even a gender thing. It's a people thing. When you know who you are, it is hard for anybody to get over on you. It's hard for anybody to treat you like trash. It is hard for anybody to convince you that you deserve to be treated like that. So you really got to get down to the core of, like, you know what? Let me do some self digging, some self discovery for myself, right? Start pointing out the things that you know that you're good, like that's good about you. And it's not like I make a lot of money, I don't make a lot of money, I got a nice shape, I don't have a nice shape. No, what is the real pure essence of who you are, right? Are a great person to the core? Are you a person that that will show up and will help anybody? Like, find every good attribute that you have about yourself, and the things that's not so good, work on those things. But those things don't make you or devalue who you are. So male or female, a man knows when he's being mistreated. What's making him stay there? A girl knows when she's being mistreated. What's making you stay there? Because it's something that they have that you feel like you're lacking. Right. So if a man is being mistreated by a woman, he's feeling like, I can't get anybody else. Nobody else is going to love me. I gotta stay with this person because this is the only person that's going. If they don't love you, I mean, if they don't respect you and they don't honor you, they don't love you. because love does not hurt. Love does not cause pain. Love is something that heals. Love is something that covers. And if you don't feel covered in your relationships, friendships, um, partners, anything, any relationship that you don't feel covered, then it's not one of love. Walk away. But you really first have to deal with what is the reason that I'm staying. Like the lady the girl you said that he's buying me a lot of stuff. So do you feel like you can't, buy yourself something? You feel like that you can't attain this for yourself, that you have to, put your worth and your value on the trinkets, because stuff come and go. Bags come and go out of style. Just nothing material is worth you trading in your moral standard, right? The way that you feel. Because I know that I've done the work, guys. I'm not saying that I've always been like this. I'm doing the work. That's why my platform is finishing strong. Because it's always a ing, it's always in motion, it's always in action. I'm every day I read something that motivates me. Every day I'm doing a meditation. Every day I'm always pouring into my life to validate who I am. Because if my husband was to come in here today and go, you know what, Erica, this is not for me, I'm gonna move on, it's gonna hurt my heart. But guess what? I appreciate the honesty and I'm gonna let you go. Anything that wanna go, let them leave. Because when you hold on for dear life for something, it's not the person that's getting bruised and beat up, it's you trying to hold on to something. Let it go. I teach my daughters all the time, the cycle and the flow of life is like this. If they come and they stay, good, but if they want to go, let them go. Anything that comes, it came to pass. Don't hold on for dear life. Anytime you're like rigid and trying to hold on to anything, you will break. Flow with life. You don't have money for your bills, it's okay. You don't have, the life that you want right now, it's okay. Because guess what? It's today. But whatever you're doing now, you're building on how it's going to look different tomorrow. When you start doing that, you start falling in love with yourself, that nobody can show up and disrespect you. Nobody. I don't care if they old, white, black, fat, skinny. I don't care who they are. You're not going to tolerate it because you are in love with who you are. That's my spiel.
That's awesome. It is awesome. When I really started becoming a better person, I always thought I was cute. And that might sound, but some of
You're
us are there.
supposed
Okay.
to.
So, everything to me was how I looked.
Mm.
And when I started, anger was a big issue with me. And when I started asking God to make me better, to take these ugliness, these ugly things away from me, and I want to be able to like that person, and I want to do. But when He started fixing that inner vivacious, I felt so much stronger and so much more beautiful and so much more loving and just reaching out and loving people. It was so much better because I liked me better.
Exactly.
But
You
one
only
thing,
project who you are inside.
yes,
You
yes,
project who you are.
yeah, by your actions. But we gotta hit this before we hang up. I mean, before we end, we gotta talk about this because this is a big deal right now. All of the things that we're doing to ourselves. I work with some people, and I know some people. A lot of nurses. They have the diet shots, which I'm not down in that. I got to be out on that one. Okay, the injections and what we're doing to our faces, um, the surgeries, the stuff we're injecting to make it look like a bum bum. And I want to tell everybody's doing that. Do not have a good product, okay? Make that person tell you their product. Know what you're putting into your body. Even when You know, as a nurse, even when my family go to the doctor, I say I can imagine what they gave for that. You know, like my little niece's puppy, he had a medical emergency. We were really afraid for her life, Maddie's life, over the weekend, and I knew that they probably gave him epinephrine, her epinephrine. You know, you call every dog a boy, but Maddie is a girl. So I said, well, what did they give her? Well, they gave her something and they gave her IV. What was the IV? Please, whether it's medical or whatever, do not let anybody put anything in your body. This is just a public service announcement. And you don't know what it is. Ask them ahead of time and look it up. See the box that it came out of it so you'll know it was really what it was supposed to be, because people buying stuff from out of the United States and off market, and they're putting a name on it, like just what happened to Ozempic. They put Ozempic on medication for diet, but they substituted insulin for Ozempic because they didn't know Ozempic wasn't like insulin. It was not. It's totally two different things. But they didn't know that. So they were selling synthetic medication. So know that. I remember I was gonna have a tummy tuck, right? I said, oh no, I'm gonna have to have my tummy tuck, my tummy. Then I sat down and thought about it. You got to be this age and you have never had surgery, never been in the hospital. God has kept you healthy. What are you thinking about going to give all these thousands of dollars for a flat stomach?
Right. Yeah.
I say to myself, it didn't take much for me to talk myself out of that one. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And so I asked somebody just not long ago, why? Oh, it builds your self esteem. Because I used to be fat. At first, I used to throw up, and now I'm doing all of this stuff, and I got this tight, I got this big. How far is that from ourselves? We're speaking of self love, knowing yourself, and now introducing all of this stuff that's coming in. I need to hear what you have to say.
You know, it's funny, and especially anybody that lives in Atlanta, because I have this little joke all the time. Like, and it may be facetious, but it's a joke. So, like, I feel like Atlanta has its own uniform. You know, the big fake booty, you know, the big giant lips, the lashes, the head down to the butt, all of that stuff. And it's like this is this a way that all the girls are starting to look like. And so, and it's a joke for me because I have a lot of friends that are guys. And guys, you know, when you are around a lot of guys, they just, you know, I'm one of the guys. So they talk to me. And it like I listened to them, but it also made me question, like, you know how like you're going out and you see everybody when we get dressed, like let's just say you're about to go out on a date, right? When we we get dressed a little bit for the guy, but 99.9% of the time it's for the other women. Right. So if me and my guy is out, if me and my husband is out, I want all the women to know that he has a nice looking woman. Right. So we getting dressed really to impress the other ladies, because the guy, they honestly love to see us with a ponytail, no makeup, like just basic regular homegirl down to earth. They think that we are the most beautiful the more natural that we are. And so this running joke with the in the guy circle is, yeah, I'm gonna look at it, but she's not somebody I'm taking home to my mother. Yeah, I'm gonna look at it, but she's not somebody I'm gonna take serious. And I'm thinking, like, women are doing all of these things in their mind to attract the guy, but it's to attract him for him to admire it or for him to play with it, but not for him to take it serious, to marry, to take him home to their mother. Why are we doing this to ourselves? So that when we show up, we can all kind of like, hey, I belong in this crowd because I look like I'm supposed to be in it. But all of that could be settled if you really decide, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to work on what I have. I'm going to be okay with what I have, and I'm going to love myself. And that too goes back to that self-love. Like, you don't have to have all of those things to make you pretty. If you want to wear some weave, wear your weave. If you want to wear a wig, wear your wig. But don't do it because you think that you're not pretty if you don't have it, you know? Because I've seen women that if they take their weave off, they like, oh my God, don't let nobody see me. I'm like, come on now. You can't let that be your identity, but you know, you can enhance yourself. Like my daughter's a makeup artist. All she talk about is mine. I'm not doing people's makeup so that they can not so they can be prettier. I'm enhancing what they already have. Like they're already pretty. I want to bring out the beauty that they already have in them. And I just love that about her because she's not the one that's going to try to make you not look like yourself. She want to beautify what you already have. I feel like that's really what we need to do instead of trying to mask it and look completely different. Just be okay with who we are and the beauty just comes out. But a real guy, the guy that's gonna love you, honor you, respect you, and all of that, he's gonna love you with no makeup. He's gonna love you with nothing. Like he's gonna love the bare bones you. I think that was when I knew my husband was for me because I could be comfortable. I could just be me. I didn't feel like I had to have the flattest stomach, the perfect hair. Like I just could be me. And so when you can find people that allows you to just be you without all the extra stuff, then you know that you are in that zone of real love. So that's my take on that.
Thank you so much, but girl, I don't go nowhere without my wig.
Well, hey,
Look, when I'm home without my wig, I'm home by myself.
that's what I'm saying. But like for us, it's an accessory, right? Like I love
Mhm.
my watches, I love my accessories, but at the
I
end of
don't
the
want to
day,
take the time. I don't want to take the time that it takes. That's why I don't want to
exactly.
take that time.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
asking somebody today. Um, I was asking somebody today. I asked her. She said, "Is there anything I can help you with, Vivacious?" I said, "Yeah, girl. I need a little more time and a few more days left to this month. Can you get me that? I just need a little more time, but I get it. I get it, and I felt like I. Let me say this first because everybody, my daughter always say, "Mama, you're not going out the house without your makeup," but that's me. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's is who I am. It's what I am,
Mm-hmm.
and like your baby say, if it's who you are, but when you have to throw up and have surgery, have you taken time to like Erica said in the mirror, eye to eye with yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been eye to eye
Mm-hmm.
with yourself and met that person?
Mm-hmm.
Have you met you?
Mm-hmm.
Have
It's
you know
chilling.
what music?
It's chilling. I'm telling you, it's the best therapeutic practice you can give yourself.
Um and I think some of mine come with, and I'm not making excuses, I'm just saying how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Before my mom died when I was a little girl, my mama said, and I love this because it kept me all of my life through all of the negative things.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said, like every mom, so what do you want to be when you grow up?
Mm-hmm.
I said, a superstar. So I have that superstar mentality. But but there's two things before we hang up, before we leave, that I want to talk about. I want you to give us that. How do you meet yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Talk one more time. And I want you to talk about your book and where we can get that book.
Okay. Okay. Well, first, it's a couple of practices that I do that I'm always in tune with who I am, right? The first one was the one that I was talking about where you get eye to eye in the mirror. And if you missed this, I'm telling you, do it, please. Like I was staying so close to the mirror where I could see my eyes, right? I want to see my eyes. And I just stand there and I look in my eyes until I'm not looking at my hair. I'm not looking at my face. I'm looking in my eye, almost like I'm looking in my soul. And then I have a conversation with me. And that conversation starts with, I love you. I love you. And thank you for being here for me. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you. Like whatever that is, have that conversation soul to soul, like in your eyes, talk to yourself. Everything that you've always wanted to hear somebody say, I'm proud of you. You didn't think you was going to be able to make it, but look how far we made it. And you did not leave me. I love you. I'm so proud of you. Y'all, when I do this, I promise you, I get so deep into this conversation with myself that I start to cry. Like it is really a like a true conversation with yourself, right? Another thing that I do is I start writing letters to me from God. A love letter to me from God. And I started off with my dearest beloved Erica, my daughter. I love you so much. Erica, you have been an amazing daughter. I have been here with you. I have never left you. I have never forsaken you. And I have the world for you, Erica. I mean, I'm talking to myself through like as if God is talking to me. So I let my pen just go and I let God say everything he want to say to me as I write it out. But I started off with Erica, my dearest daughter. I love you. And just imagine how that letter is going to feel, right?
Wow. Yes.
And then just being able to, like, if you journal, and that's something that I wrote in my book as well, when I was going through those deep moments. And that's really how the book happened because I was journaling everything. And then when I would journal, I would get all because we can't put roses over top of poo, right? So we gotta dig the poo up so that we can get to the fresh, fertile soil that the roses can come out of, right? And so I would write in my journal all of the ugly, all of the hurt, all of the pain, all of like, I just feel like I'm just so this and I'm writing until teardrops is staining my paper. I'm wiping my eyes and I'm writing. I'm getting it all out. But I do not close my journal without building myself up. So I got it all out. I feel like this and I da 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 and this is happening da 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 da. And then I go, but you know what? This is not the first thing this is not the first problem that showed up in my life and I made it through it and I can make it through this one. And what makes this any different? And you know what? I am loved and I am this and I am that. I affirm myself every time because guys, this is what I got to say to you that I learned. It is not by anybody else's words that controls your life. It is the words that you say to yourself, not even out loud, but in here the words you think about yourself, because even though you don't say them out loud, you act them out. You start becoming that I'm not enough. My voice is not enough. Don't nobody want to hear what I have to say. I'm not pretty enough. Like all the things that's holding you back is the very thing that you have been using to cage you in from whatever that is, the fulfillment you want in your life. The purpose in your life is all going to be built around you showing up for yourself. Jasmine is my daughter. Again, she's a makeup artist. And one of her biggest insecurities is talking. Like if you go to her page, she's Jazzy Faces on Instagram, jazzyfaces.co. She will put up her work. She will do everything but sit down and have a conversation and talk to her followers, right? Because she's always felt like her voice was not, I don't know where it came, but she always felt like she did not like to be the center of attention. So she hid behind it. And we actually had this conversation today. I said, Jasmine, the very thing that you're hiding behind, which is not sharing your voice, not showing people who you really are, is holding you back from what the purpose of your life is. And in that purpose is all of your financial abundance and everything. Everything is tied up behind the thing that you're hiding behind. So it is the way that you think, the things that you say to yourself is going to determine where you are in your life. Change your inner thoughts, change that inner conversation, and you will absolutely change your life.
Awesome. This has been such a night, but you got to tell us where to get that book. Tell us the name again and where to get it.
So ericastrong.com. Super easy. ericastrong.com. You'll see everything that I do, all of my stuff. But at the bottom of the first page, you can order Love Strong, Stand Strong, Finish Strong, which is my first book that I was talking about.
Aviel Lewis said, what a beautiful discussion. And, and Patricia Harris said, words are so powerful. I'm learning to speak life over myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
And thank you so much for being here tonight. It has been a blessing, and I'm glad everybody that was listening have so much to take home. And we'll be calling you again.
Absolutely. Thank you
All
for
right.
having
We
me. This was
definitely have to
amazing.
get you in studio.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys. And thank you so much for just the feedback that you guys have been giving us along the way, because it really does help to know that we're giving good information. So I thank you for that.
And tell Jazzy I said thank you for introducing you to me.
I sure will.
Good night, everybody. See you next Wednesday.
Good night.